For more on the events today at the DMZ and what might be next for North and South Korea and for the United States, the Washington Post's Japan and Korea bureau chief Simon Denyer joins us now via Skype from Seoul. Thanks for joining us. So, look, the president's critics have pointed out that he has a history of understanding reality TV and drama. How was this perceived besides a photo op on the ground there?
Well, Harry, it was a historic moment. The president crossed into North Korea. He met the North Korean leader. First time that's happened since the Korean War, the first time that's ever happened, actually. But it was, as you say, a beautiful piece of carefully constructed reality television. We were supposed to believe that this had all been organized in 24 hours with a tweet from the president. We spent 24 hours with the president building it up minute by minute, almost sort of saying all through the day, oh, they're trying to make arrangements, they're trying to make arrangements, really leading us to believe that this was going to be a surprising, dramatic final thing. I mean, I don't think many people really bought that line. Everybody really was watching, expected that this had been organized sometime in advance. Two leaders from two powerful countries don't tend to organize meetings on the basis of a tweet.
Yeah.
That's what notice. So yeah, it was reality TV at its best.
More substantively, what is the position that this puts, say, Japan and South Korea in? Because North Korea hasn't stopped testing its short-range missiles, which could harm them.
Right. I mean, from the South Korean point of view, from President Moon's point of view, it's a good thing that America and North Korea are talking, because it's a better thing that they're talking than they're about to declare war on each other, because for South Korea that would be the ultimate disaster. For Japan, it is a different calculation. I think the Japanese have always been very wary of North Korea's nuclear weapons. They've been very wary of the missile threat. They're very concerned that a deal will be struck which will legitimize a nuclear weapons state right on their doorstep with missiles, which is extremely hostile to it. So the Japanese are watching this with a great deal of wariness and a great deal of concern. And I think, what you see now is President Trump used to talk about denuclearization, but in the last 24 hours, he barely mentioned denuclearization. He just kept saying the border is safer than it used to be before. So we've really moving the goalposts here, and I think that will be a concern for Japan.
In that part of the world, face-saving, credibility, legitimacy are culturally far more important than they are perhaps in the United States. What does this do to the standing of the North Korean leader in the context of the leadership that's in the region?
Well, it's a very good question. I think that the collapse of the Hanoi summit had actually been a blow for Kim Jong Un's domestic prestige, his prestige within North Korea, and actually had been very embarrassing for him. And I think that after that, you've seen a return to a certain amount of hostility from North Korea because Kim Jong Un had to save face. So from that point of view, giving him an opportunity to sort of get back with Trump and start the dialogue process probably isn't a bad thing. It's probably better, as I say, that North Korea and the United States are talking than North Korea is testing ballistic missiles. The problem is North Korea going to surrender its nuclear weapons? Does Kim have any intention of doing that? And I think that's the big doubt. Is President Trump legitimizing a nuclear weapons state in this neighborhood?
Is there any incentive to change their behavior when the United States seems willing to talk and is not asking for any behavior on the North Koreans' part to change? I mean, you're in contact with defectors. Have conditions inside North Korea improved in the time that this rapprochement between countries exists?
North Korea is still building, as far as we know, as far as we can guess, is still building up its nuclear arsenal, its missile arsenal. The human rights situation hasn't changed. Those are two things, two solid indications that things are not getting better. There is one thing which is better, and that is they're not testing their missiles. They're not as hostile and as threatening. So it's 1 out of 3, if you like, that President Trump has achieved. But those other two indicators, there is no progress.
All right, Simon Denyer, the Japan and Korea's bureau chief for the Washington Post, joining us via Skype. Thanks so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.